All right, 6 minutes after the hour, Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, 43 degrees. Nothing like starting the show with an open mic, Shane. So that's okay, though. We didn't say any of the 8 words we're not supposed to say, so we're still in good standing with the FCC and everyone else out there. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing, is on the line in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor. And it's my favorite day of the week. My Tuesday's a heck of a way to spend 1/7 of your life, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's that day of the week you just love.
I'm
sorry. It's that day of the week you go, why we have a Tuesday?
Why do we have a Tuesday at all? I've never been able to figure that out. And the only good thing about Tuesday, Jeff Krauss shows up on Tuesday.
Truly, yeah.
So Jeff will be here at 8 o'clock, and we'll be talking about that. Shane had an election in Canada yesterday. We'll be talking about that in the 7 o'clock hour. It's so complicated that no one understands what the hell you guys did up there. Trudeau got no votes, but he's still in. So anyway, we'll talk about that in the 7 o'clock hour after we get everything out of the way here in the first hour. But and we've got some local news too, and. Well, Jeff and his group approved the Bogart Pavilion money last night, so the city won't be on the hook for as much as they would have been, I guess, for doing that. So, in our weather around the area, boy, it is Tuesday, and rain is likely. Why not? It's Tuesday. Mainly between 10 and 1, and then it's going to be mostly cloudy with a high near 55 today. We're also going to have about a 60% chance of precip, and amounts between 1/10 and 1/4 inch are possible. That's going to be rain, not snow, I believe, with 55-degree temperatures. I don't think we're going to do too bad there. And then tonight, of course, more rain. Chance of rain before 1 o'clock, and then a chance of rain and snow between 1 and 4, and then it'll change to snow after 4 a.m. Mostly cloudy, a chance of precipits 40%, and little or no snow accumulation is expected. So we'll have those warm temperatures hanging over from Tuesday during the day. Wednesday, snow likely, mainly between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m., so you'll have snow for your commute to work on Wednesday morning. And partly sunny with a high near 43, chance of precip 60%. New snow accumulation of less than 1/2 inch is possible. Wednesday night, 40% chance of snow before 7 o'clock, and then mostly cloudy, low around 23 on Wednesday night. And little or snow accumulation expected again. And then we get a break on Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 50. Should be nice. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low around 31. Then on Friday, sunny with a high near 61. And then Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 36. And then on Saturday, the rain comes back. Chance of rain before 10 a.m. Then a chance of rain and snow between 10 and 1. Then rain likely after 1, partly sunny with a high near 43. And then on Saturday, rain and snow likely. Or Saturday night, rather, rain and snow likely, mostly cloudy with a low around 22. And then on Sunday, chance of snow, mostly cloudy with a high near 35. And Sunday night, chance of snow again, low around 15. So 15 degrees. That's not 75 misprint. That's 15.
Yeah, I have to say, we've been doing this for like over a decade.
Yeah.
And I hear you say this every morning, and every year this time of year, I sit here and think about growing up in the dry, bitter cold of Montana.
Yeah.
And thinking how much nicer it was than the humid cold of the eastern part of the continent, like in New York or Toronto.
Yeah.
And then I think, geez, like really, and it's just starting. It goes on for like 6 months, like
or longer. Yeah.
I
was going to say it won't get warm till July, so
I know.
you got 6 months starting 2 months from now. So
That's right. And the contrast of me sitting here in the tropics and you in the middle of the South
yeah,
Pole, or
yeah.
Antarctica.
Well, I will tell you, I like the dry cold here better than the wet cold in Illinois. I
Oh,
mean, come on.
that's
I
terrific.
mean, that's
Terrific.
horrible.
Oh,
That's
it is.
horrible. I mean,
That's why they wiped out all the buffalo for the coats.
that must
Because,
be it. Yeah.
yeah, it was because it was the only thing that would keep people warm in the eastern part of the United States.
Wow.
There
Well,
you
good
go.
for them. Well,
Yeah.
they were smart.
Well, I mean,
I'll
not
have to head downtown see if I can find a buffalo coat somewhere.
the only remnants of it are the hats. That the guards
Yeah.
at the palace in London for the Queen are wearing.
Oh, okay. So
buffalo skins.
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to look for bison. We'll have to look for
maybe they're
bison
bearskin
coats
now.
here. we don't
No,
have,
yeah,
we don't have
they
any
might
buffalo, so we'll have to look for bison coats. So
spice. Yeah, that's right.
yeah. All right, temperatures around the area right now. Livingston checking in at 44 degrees. Manhattan is 40. Three Forks is 40. Gallatin Gateway's 40. Ennis is 42. Big Sky's 33. And over at the airport in Bozeman, or Belgrade, I guess, if you want to be technical about it, 39 degrees at the airport, and we're presently at 43 degrees, and we're looking for a high of 55 today. So we're looking pretty hard for that. So our poll question of the day yesterday: which Die Hard movie is the best movie? Which is the best Die Hard? 81% said they like the first one. The Nakatomi Plaza. 9%.
Have a beer.
Yeah. 9% like the Live Free or Die Hard. I like that one as well. And then 4% tied with Die Hard 2 and Die with a Vengeance. And A Good Day to Die Hard didn't get any votes at all. And I thought that was pretty lame anyway. It was in London or somewhere. It was a foreign country. So who cares? I mean, why even bother watching it? I don't know. They drive on the wrong side of the road over there. It's just not a nice place. So today's question, and since Tuesday's so lame, I thought we'd have a lame poll question.
Okay.
Which answer?
How lame was it?
It was so lame that it was so lame that which answer will get the most votes? That was the question, and. All of the above, I like peanuts. None of the above, the bottom one. This one, they'll all be the same, or the top one. So
that's right.
So right now, 42% of you want to know. I don't understand the question. Who the heck knows? And what's the question? Well, the question is, which answer will get the most votes? And you got to vote for one of the answers.
Oh, I got you.
So which one will get the most votes? So.
Well, for me at 4:00 in the morning, it's a brain twister. Some of your questions, I have to tell you. See, it takes me think. Yeah. I have to think.
Well, see, this one makes you think early in the morning.
Right.
I mean,
does.
come on.
But what the heck is he talking about?
Well, 28% think all of the above. 14% are tied with I like peanuts and none of the above. So voting is just started, so we'll see. We'll see how that one goes, if it goes at all. I don't know. Also, don't forget, we are in the Bozeman Choice Readers Poll, Bozeman Magazine Readers Choice poll for all kinds of things over there. Favorite celebrity and best radio station, best show. We are in for DJs, Shane and myself, we're on for the best radio show and most luscious voice in radio in Bozeman, local radio. So wow. you'll want to go over and check that out. So absolutely. So by all means, it's a fun time over there. So
yeah.
So get over and vote. BozemanMagazine.com. Get over there and vote. And also, our downloads, we are only 17 downloads away from 2,000 downloads of our shows. So
Wow, that's
Only
scary.
17 more downloads, and we'll have 2,000
Mhm.
downloads of our shows. We really thank everybody for the support they've given us while we're sitting here on still some kind of a temporary basis, I guess. I don't know till I can find anybody but me.
Temporary until tomorrow.
You're right. Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow will be the day. So,
Yeah. So no,
well,
I just say that the way it all works, right, is they never give you a chance to say goodbye. You're gone.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't say goodbye. They change the door code. Actually, is what
Yeah,
they
that's
do.
right.
You come to get in, and you can't get in, and they
They're so afraid
yeah.
that you'll say something bad about them.
Yeah, and then you call, hey, did you change the door code? And they said, who are you? You know,
Why are you calling this number?
why are you
private number?
calling? Do you want to advertise or what? Get
Yeah,
out of
there you
here.
go.
Yeah, don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah.
All right, on this date in 1746. Wow, that was even before. That was what?
That's for you.
Yeah, that was 30 years before we signed the Declaration of Independence. We had Princeton University and Krugman teaching there. Paul Krugman.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So Princeton,
Was that named after somebody named Princeton, or
I,
is it princes from England, or what? A tribute to something British, or I don't know.
No reference to what I could find. Probably would be.
Yeah.
It's one of the Ivy League.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's one of those elite schools. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the College of New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and then moved to Newark in 1747. A year later, then to the current site 9 years later, and renamed Princeton University from the College of University. A couple of things I have to mention because we giggle about this as we do. Pretty much theological seminary when it started out, and a School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. But the most notable 15 Fields medalists. The Fields Medal is awarded every 4 years during the quadrennial International Congress of Mathematicians for the most brilliant mathematician. 68 Nobel laureates, 13 Turing awards. Turing Award is awarded every year by the Association for Computing Machinery, and as the most brilliant computer writer. 139 Gates Cambridge scholars, 126 Marshall scholars. These are the top end of anything. 21 national medals of science. Let's see. As far as remarkable, 2 presidents, 12 U.S. Supreme Court justices, 3 of whom are currently serving on the court.
Wow.
Numerous living billionaires and foreign heads of state are all from Princeton. The motto is under God's power, she flourishes. But what's important is, guess what's important? The endowment fund.
Whoa.
Guess how much, Thomas? Come on.
How many billion do they have?
$25.9 billion. They went over $29 billion this year.
Wow. Ouch.
Bigger than Harvard.
Harvard and Yale probably combined.
They have so much money. Now, why aren't they?
Why aren't they giving free tuition to the Asians, the Asian community? I don't know.
And why aren't the Democrats talking about taxing them and taking a few bills?
Yeah, right. There you go. Well, why don't they pay off the student loans? That's only $1.6 billion. They could pay that baby off and still have 24 left.
There's 4 of them that have $100 billion.
Well, I was going to say, let's
No, it's $1.6 trillion.
cough it up, guys. Pay for it. Get it done.
Yeah, they could pay like 20% of it.
Well, they could. They could pay all of it.
A problem. If you took I should look it up across the country.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break here because we got to take care of the Montana ag folks, and Headwaters Livestock's got a big sale coming up, and so you want to hear about that. So we'll be right back right after this. 27 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, 43 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of 55 today. Shane Matabin, half man, half amazing, is on the line with me in Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor, in the house. We'll be covering the Canadian election at 7 o'clock. Jeff Krauss will join us at 8. And so until then, we're going to press on because you'll want to know about the first parachute jump, I'm sure. And think about this guy doing this shit. Guy decides, jump. Parachute. Yeah, I need a parachute.
No, balloonist.
Oh, I thought he was, parachute descent.
Yeah, well, but as a balloonist.
Well, he was a balloonist, but he didn't make a balloon descent.
I know. Well,
what do you do? Go up in a balloon and jump out with a parachute?
No, he'd float up in a balloon, and then he'd pull a rope, and they'd let the hot air out, and it turned into a parachute, and then he'd come down. Because there's no hot air to hold it up, so it's just the air held it up and then pulled it down.
So it was a balloon chute.
It was a balloonist parachute.
Okay. Well, anyway, Andre Jacques Garnerin, I guess.
Wow, that was very good.
Yeah, went up. Yeah, well, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Went up 3,000 feet, and
that's a long way up.
Yeah, I still think he went up. I think he left the balloon and jumped out with a parachute. I don't think he let the air out of the balloon. How do you know it's going to flop open and slow you down? Do you stay in the basket or what?
You're good. Seriously, you are really good. 1766 to 1849. Anyway, he lived to 54, but, he's French. And pretty cool that he came up with this concept. It's been around for several hundred years. I mean, anyway, long story short, he did it for the entertainment of the French court, because look at the dates, 1768, 1849, during the French Revolution. He began experiments with early parachutes based on umbrella-shaped devices and carried out the first frameless parachute descent.
Wow, frameless.
In a gondola with a silk parachute on the 26th of October, 1990, in the center of Paris. Unbeknownst to anyone, they saw this rise and went, "Whoa, look, what the heck is that?"
Okay. All right. I got to go. I got to go ponder that. We'll be right back with more right after this. 5 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, 43 degrees outside, looking for a high of 55. Shane and Tobin, half man, half amazing on the line. Tom Eagle, your morning mayor, and this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And on this date in 1844, actress Sarah Bernhardt was born in Paris, France.
What a babe, I'm telling you. This baby, man. The 22nd of October, 44 to 26th of March, 1923. She made the talkies, was a huge success because she was a babe. Anyway, great singer. Victor Hugo praised her, and of course, she did the first performance of La Tosca by Victorine Sardou in Paris. Interesting thing about the history of this woman, it has to be said, of course, we do this because we're so good. She was a Dutch Jewish courtesan. So those of you that always wondered what a courtesan was, I looked it up. I just wanted to surprise everyone. In the modern age, meaning in the 18th and 19th century, is a euphemism meaning an escort, mistress, or a prostitute, better known in the 21st century as a hooker. And it for whom the art of dignified etiquette is the means of attracting wealthy, powerful, or influential men. So it's sort of like a Japanese, what do you call them?
Geisha.
Thank you. So, in the 18th century or 1800s, they decide to sort of clean up, prostitution and, make it more legitimate because it was recognized, right?
Right. Yeah.
She did really well. Victor Hugo at the time, who was probably the French equivalent of Shakespeare, and a lot of people would probably know him for having written in 1862 Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So he was like the big guy producer in Paris, and discovered her and thought she had a golden voice, and she was a courtesan, so he had a good time.
Apparently so.
Like this guy's the original couch guy, the producer couch guy. Yeah.
You certainly don't get this on the other stations, that's for sure. Well, on this date in 1934, bank robber Charles Pretty Boy Floyd was shot to death by federal agents at a farm in East Liverpool, Ohio.
Yeah, it's 30 years old when he got the whack, and
Hmm.
Melvin Purvis, which they've made many movies about,
Hmm.
and the FBI because he had to go back, to the FBI, in Washington. You got to give us guns. I mean, we can't go out and go try and arrest these guys
Yeah,
without guns.
yeah, yeah. We'll just shoot them all.
That's right. And he was called Pretty Boy because, are you ready for this? 5'4"
Yeah.
less than 100 pounds.
Well,
So he walked around short with a big gun.
I guess he was. I guess he was a pretty boy then, huh?
That's right. And no one was happy to see him with his big gun.
I guess apparently not. Well, at
He
night.
was, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you
It's
got a
not
finishing thought on Pretty Boy or what?
He's from Georgia, 1904,
Ah, okay.
and he was arrested first in 18 for stealing 350 from a local post office, which was a federal crime. So, like,
Well, good. Maybe he
I
didn't
thought-
realize that. I guess he didn't realize that at the time.
well, of course not. Yeah.
So that was what, $40,000 in today's money.
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Uh,
350. So
yeah.
all right. Well, in this date, in 1954, West Germany joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, otherwise known as NATO.
Well, it's pretty scary because it costs $1 trillion for their budget annually,
Mm.
of which $900 million, more than the United States, is spent on the military that NATO holds up, which, of course, the U.S. covers about 40%. So,
Mhm.
and the interesting thing today is that the most recent member was Montenegro on the 5th of June, 2017. There are 12 original members, now there's 29. And they've been considering Ukraine as a member for, quite some time. And, 42 million people in Ukraine. But, it's Article 5 that's the big deal. Anyone attacked, everyone defends, them all. So
Yeah.
sort of under the wire on that one, because if they'd picked up the Ukraine 10 years ago or 5 years ago, we all could have been fighting Russia right now.
I was going to say they'd have to defend Russia, wouldn't they? Or defend against Russia, I should say.
Crimea. We'd be right back in World War I all over again.
Ooh,
Oh
how exciting would that be? Will there be trenches and stuff like that? Probably not. Huh? Drones and whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah, drones and whatever else. That's right.
All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be right back. 18 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, 43 degrees outside. On this date in 1968, Apollo 7 with astronauts Wally Schirra, Don Fulton Isley, and R. Walter Cunningham aboard returned to Earth by parachute.
Wow, I'm so impressed you remember their names. You amaze me, Eagle Man. You're the best. Okay. Especially about flight and sports. Okay,
Yeah, right.
So human space flight, as we all know, there was basically 3 systems. Mercury was with 1, Gemini 2, and Apollo with 3. They established that it would take a crew of 3 to get to the moon.
Right.
And this was the first flight to test the command center, but it's unfortunately, it was AS-201 mission known as Apollo 1, was intended to be the first crew flight, but it, of course, had that fire during which the 3 test pilots were killed in 1967. So it delayed flights for 21 months, and they had to investigate it, and then they had to test the Saturn V rocket, largest rocket ever built by that great German. And they did successfully go up for 11 days. But the great story about this is the mutiny in space. Like that, there's always been this claim that on Apollo 7, the first flight, the crew wasn't too happy with the conditions in the capsule, even though it was significantly larger. They could move around in it, right?
Yeah.
So I want to take a minute because this is great. So here's one conversation, Schirra. You've added 2 hours to this flight schedule, and you've added a urine water dump. And we have a new vehicle up here, and I can tell you at this point, the TV will be delayed without any further discussion until after the rendezvous. Well, when they say a urine dump, apparently was actually in the cabin So they wouldn't turn the TV on. It was the first time they had a TV on in the cabin. So Capcom returns Roger copy. And Gerard goes, Roger? The Capcom says, yeah, Apollo says, this is Capcom number one. Gerard says, Roger. And Capcom, all we've agreed to do on this is to flip it. And he says, flip the ship because of the urine in the cabin, or turn on the TV. Anyway, it was one of those times in history. He'd gotten a head cold and wasn't in very good shape. Obviously, to deal with command center, but
wow,
one of those times, a few times
mm-hmm.
that that the astronauts in space sort of stepped out of character.
Well, also they wanted a window, I believe, at one point. They demanded the window on the thing so that they could see what's going on outside.
To see what's outside.
Want to see the Earth or whatever, yeah. Well, on this date, 1979, the U.S. government allowed the deposed Shah of Iran to travel to New York for medical treatment. Why we care, I don't know.
Well, the only reason that we do care, and it's going to be important in the next several months, is what I've commented about your intelligence services. Here's an example. Once again, they had no idea that he was basically, his government was collapsing in Iran. And, and that the Ayatollah was coming back while he was in the U.S. having this medical care. And, again, this whole argument we've seen this last week about Ukraine and Syria and your president making these decisions, I'm concerned with the hundreds of billions your intelligence services spend every year. They're sidestepping the fact that this claim that, we don't fight them over there, they'll come over here. Well, then you're saying you can't depend on your intelligence services to protect you.
Yeah.
So, let's spend twice the amount, and I don't know. One of those things, because, we're going to keep talking about how many failed things that the CIA did not discover.
How true, how true. 1981, rather, on this date, the Professional Air Traffic Controllers Organization, they were professionals, by the way, was decertified by the federal government for its strike the previous August. I think Ronald Reagan said, hey, you want to walk? Keep walking. Keep walking.
You're fired. Yeah.
Just keep on walking.
That's right. He was the first non-televised talk show host who looked at the camera and said, you're fired.
You're fired. Yeah. Get out of here.
He fired the entire department.
Yep. We'll just start over. We don't care.
And they did. 13,000 members, and they were all gone. Didn't hire any of them back.
Wow.
Yeah.
On this date in 2002, a bus driver was shot to death in Aspen Hill, Maryland, in the 13th and final attack by the Washington area sniper. Was that Malvo?
Yeah, it was. And the terrible thing about it was they caught the snipers, John Allen Muhammad, 41, and Lee Boyd Malvo, 17. And they took the back seat out of a Chevrolet Caprice 1990 sedan, and they cut a hole in the trunk, out the back.
Right.
And he would lay down and fire from the car, and then they drive away. But they caught him. Yeah. So it was. But I remember the story because.
Oh yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Washington D.C. area, Virginia, Maryland. I mean, everybody was. Well, you would be. You'd be scared.
Yeah. Well, the attacks were everywhere. I mean, they were at gas stations. They were moving cars. They were, people walking on the street. I mean, there wasn't any. It was very random. You could be anywhere and get shot, just like the last one was a bus driver.
Well, and the thing was, they were juveniles when they did this, so they ended up in court and went to prison. They tried to appeal it, and the Supreme Court in Miller versus Alabama, 2012 reference said that no, it's fine to send to send a youngin to prison for life for something this bad.
Yeah.
So there you go.
No problem. Yeah.
No problem, baby. You're gone. You're out of here.
Well, in 2007, China's Communist Party gave President Hu Jintao a second 5-year term.
Well, yeah.
Jintao, I believe that is, not Jintao.
Right.
It's Jintao.
December 21st, 1942. So he's 7 years old when Mao took over in in China. But he was one of these first really educated leaders of China. He'd gone to school in Europe and Britain and France, and moved up through the party to the Politburo in 1992, 1912. So he was one of these very well-educated people. Interesting contrast between him and Ping, who became the really guiding force and set China on the road to being a Nazi regime, was that he was self-analytical. He's the smartest guy in the room, which did cause them some problem. But, he worked hard to get him in the World Trade Organization, got it done. He got it done.
Yeah.
You can't fault him for that.
He made the big mistake of not just saying, "Hey, I'm president for life," as Xi did.
Yeah, that's right.
What do the Communist Party say about that? Do they say, "Okay, no problem"?
Yeah, they do. Well, everyone's in the bag. It's a committee.
Well,
it's like the ship committee. It's a pile of shit.
Why have this constant, bunch of guys coming through here when we can all work together? Didn't Saddam Hussein say, "I don't see how you can be a president in 8 years? It takes you that long just to get a feel for the job."
That's right. And Mao's little red book that he wrote back in '65. He said it'll take 3 generations, 60 years. Well, he only made it 40. So there you go.
All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Stay tuned. 7 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, 43 degrees outside. Looking for a high of 55 degrees today. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing on the line. And Vancouver, British Columbia, Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor in the house. And this is the soon to maybe be award-winning KMMS Morning Soapbox Show.
Well, we're award-winning anyway.
Right, there you are. Well, born on this date, there's only a couple of people that are worth talking about. One is Timothy Leary. Tune in, tune out, to drop out, or drop out. Turn on, tune in, that's drop out. That was it. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Timothy Leary, the acid king of the world.
That's right, baby. Get high and you'll be fine.
That's right.
Also born on this date, Constance Bennett, the American actress, died in 1965 at the age of 60, but was a contract player for many years and starred in a bunch of movies and whatever. You may or may not remember her name, but she was quite a chick in her day.
Not only that, but there was a huge crowd of people in Hollywood, but during the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. That were walk-ons, just in the crowd.
Yeah.
And they made huge money. I mean, they made $10,000 to $50,000 a show, depending on, who they were, what they looked like, because they were all character actors. And they just were in the background. But what a great way, 10 shows a year, $100,000 to $500,000 a year that's pretty good living.
That's pretty good back in those days. It definitely was big bucks back then. So, All right. In the time we have left, I want to say a couple words about our customer appreciation sale that's going on. KMMS and all of our stations, Town Square Media, is putting out advertising at greatly reduced rates. And the reason you should consider this is that we do it all. If a agency says, we'll create an ad plan for you and we'll make a website, well, they're going to farm that website out to another company. We don't do that. We do it in-house.
That's right.
We do it in-house. And same with video or anything else. We are, rather than a radio station with digital capability, we're a digital company with radio capability. So we can, if radio is not the ideal for you, then we can put you on digital. And, as we reported from time to time, this station streams more than any of our 5 stations. More people stream this station. Roughly, I think the last count was in the 30,000 range. So that's half the people in Gallatin Valley, or Gallatin County, right. I should say, or a third of the people in Gallatin County, I guess. So, but we do it all over the place. We just I got a lead on from LinkedIn the other day from somebody in New York. Well, Town Square Media can do New York. So
there you go, baby.
We're doing it from here, and he's going to pay us to do it in New York with Town Square Media. So that's the way it is.
Folks, I'm going to interrupt you there. You deserve all the credit. Props out to you. You're the one who's got it all done. You're the one who set it all up. You're the one who's made it work, and you should get all the credit.
Well, I don't know about that.
All right, where's that pay raise? I
Well,
want to know
there's
where the pay raise. Where's the pay raise?
That's right. Yeah. Well, I'm not an employee. We sell this show to KMMS, so at least for the time being, I don't know if and when I become an employee, I may have to take a pay cut. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. But anyway, yeah, take advantage of that. At least look into it. Radio is a great medium. A lot of people listen to us. We've got 5 stations here. We can find the demographics that work for your particular business. If it's not on KMMS, it may be on XL Country or KISS or Moose FM or K-Sky or KPRK, whatever. So
Right.
We're set up to do it. So by all means, check it out. It's on our website. Go to kmmsam.com and check it out. You will be pleasantly surprised at all the things that we can do for your business, and not just on the radio. So
That's correct.
make it happen. All right.
That's
so
right.
that's the end of my rant.
Okay, it's good. Yeah. And now you got to go to an ad. Bye.
Yeah, yeah, we got to go somewhere. Well, let's see. From our text line, of course, the Trumpers are hard at it. They started at 6 o'clock. So
that's right.
more news you won't hear on talk radio. Well, we're on talk radio. We're talking about the news right now. President Donald Trump on Monday claimed he's receiving unfair scrutiny because of the phony emoluments clause, as he defended his prior decision to host next year's G7 summit at his Doral resort. And I don't see anything wrong with him having the G7 summit at the Doral resort. He doesn't directly benefit from that because he divested himself of everything.
That's right. And on top of it, he was going to pay for it.
Well, yeah. So.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, well, I don't think news you won't hear on talk radio was that he was going to pay for it. So,
Well, they don't want to say that.
That's the difference, I think, when we're talking about that. So
That's right.
So why not? Why not pay for it?
Well, and they had the.
And it makes sense. It's right by the airport. There's minimum security required to get them to and from the airport and all that. So why not?
It's on a peninsula with water on either side. It's easily to defend.
Yeah.
7 liters.
Yeah.
And what's his name? The senator, that classic senator from Florida said, would have brought in like $400 million to the economy.
The community. Rick Scott is the.
Yeah.
Or DeSantis.
No, the other one.
DeSantis.
Little, what's his name?
Oh, little Marco.
Yeah, little
Marco Rubio.
Said, Marco Rubio said, well, it would have been great for down here for Florida, but it doesn't look very good politically. Like, he doesn't care. The thing about Trump is he doesn't care.
Yeah, and we shouldn't either. So
No.
anyway. All right, we got to get out of here. We'll be back, though. Trust me. Local news and some other things right after this.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. It is 4 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, 43 degrees outside, looking for a high of 55 degrees today. And from our text line, Trump didn't divest anything. If you think he wouldn't profit from Doral, you probably think Mexico is building his wall. Impeachment equal lynching. Who else is tired of this thin-skinned crybaby president of the United States? Wah, wah, wah. Not fair that they hold him accountable.
Wow. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to say I'm impressed that someone thinks that way.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, because I can't say it's disappointing that someone thinks that way, because that would be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the problem is. He'll be gone in 5 years.
Yeah.
So
that's so
suck it up.
Yeah.
Wham, wham, wham.
Well, the amazing thing is that under Obama, not an inch, not an ounce, nothing wrong during my administration.
That's
there was
right.
no corruption. There was no investigation.
No scandal. No nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. Well, it turns out it's going to be the most rotten. administration in the history of the country, because it went. This investigation is going to go right to the White House and him, and yet, it'll turn out that 100 years from now that Trump was the most legitimate president you ever had because he was so investigated they couldn't find anything.
I was going to say, I can't think of anybody who's been investigated more other than Clinton, maybe, but.
Oh, that's right.
That's the only one in my memory, at least. That
well, Nixon.
Well, yeah, Nixon, of course, but yeah. Let's go to the phones. 522 Talk is the number. 522-8255. Caller, you're on the morning soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, you fine gentlemen. It's Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Good morning, Stephen.
So, as a listener, I'm sure you've been hearing it. It's kind of annoying to hear the liberal bash Trump text all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But another way, I find it fantastic because all they're doing is they're just showing how crazy they are.
I know.
Well, that's why I put them on. Well, besides all views are welcome here, and if you want to bash Trump, go for it. But I put it on more for educational use than anything else. That it's same way with the debates. If you watch the Democrat debates, it's pretty hard to understand who would possibly vote for any of these people.
Precisely. And listening to the texters, you have to wonder who could possibly stay in this party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I don't get Clinton because, as I said to Tom, we were talking before the show. Nobody talks about an open convention with the Democrats. I don't think any of these people on the dais are going to get a majority of delegates to win in the first round. So now she's blown it for someone to put her up, to run again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's great because it's going to be an open convention. It's not going to be Bernie necessarily, or it'll be a woman, but it could have been Clinton. Now she's ruined it for herself. So there you go.
Yeah. Well.
Quick, hey Tom, real quick.
Yeah.
Sunday on Mark Levin's show, he had a senator on, and then yesterday on his show, he played clips from his Sunday show regarding what this senator said. Now, this senator sat in on the meeting where the transcript occurred.
Yes.
And this senator unequivocally on Mark Levin's show stated there was zero quid pro quo. That didn't happen.
Well, I think the transcript is public record. I mean, you can go read it yourself and decide for yourself if there was any.
Oh, I agree. But the point I'm making is that the media will have Schiff on, who heard third hand from a whistleblower, and we'll go after the 4 or more anonymous or 13 or 500 and more anonymous whistleblowers we've got regarding this call. Yet real news, real information gets produced, and the media blatantly ignores it. And the point of Mark's visit with the senator yesterday was to not only say, hey, look, we have evidence that counters, but the more important part is this is your media bias. Why aren't they spreading this information? And so it goes bigger picture than just our liberal media. Why isn't Fox News? Why isn't Washington Examiner or Post or whichever one it is, it's quote unquote conservative? It is being blatantly ignored through all of media. And it's really starting to frustrate me how we, the individual consumers, have to pick and choose our news sources to whether or not we get real information. Highly frustrating. But on that note, that's why I love listening to you guys.
No, I got to ask Steve this question. What did you think about Romney's secret Twitter account? I mean, what a laugh.
Could you be more sophomoric?
I mean,
this guy.
How narcissistic is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Precisely. You know what I wonder? Here's what I want. I want a poll of the Utah voters that voted in Romney, and I want to know how they feel about this, because I honestly think he might have just signed his death warrant as far as his political career is concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. He's in there for another, 4 years at least, I think.
5.
6 years. So he's got 4 left. Well, no, 3 left, I guess. He's halfway through.
Yeah.
So
they could hold a recall vote.
Well,
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Well, they could.
Great.
The thing that I thought was interesting about Romney was watching him blow out his birthday candles. Now that was pretty entertaining. I don't know if you saw that or not, but for the benefit of the listeners who don't, Romney takes each individual candle out of the cake and blows it out, and then puts it in his other hand. And he takes them out one at a time and blows them. So this guy must have more wishes than Aladdin. I don't know, but
one more thing before I let you go, Tom.
Sure, go for it. Yeah.
I wanted to say I'm so sorry, Shane.
For the election?
Yeah, I don't know what your fellow country member, but I'm sorry.
I'm sitting on a pillow.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Well, that's all I had for you guys. I hope you have a great morning.
Well, you too. Same to you. Thanks for listening, and thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. Okay, let's see. Let's keep the Trumpsters going here. So they don't want to have the meeting at Trump's property because it's too hard to bug the meetings. Hey, Chris Griffin, do us all a favor. Pull your lower lip over your head and swallow. So I don't think that was from Chris, but anyway. Romney sophomoric and Trump isn't? All right. Let's move on to the Canada election because we brought that up earlier. And
thank you.
You need to kind of brief us a little bit. You have a parliamentary form of government. You got 6 parties you got to deal with, and apparently the prime minister can call an election anytime he wants within 5 years. And we did have one. So what's the good, the bad, the ugly of this election in Canada?
Well, you have 445 congressional districts. And so in relation to that, we have a House of Commons, 338 seats. We call them ridings. So It's similar to your House of Commons or your House of Representatives. So all the parties put up candidates in each seat. And whoever wins that seat obviously goes to the House of Commons. And that party with the largest number of seats forms the government. So you don't vote for the individual necessary in your riding here. You vote for the party of your choice to form a government. That's the difference.
So the winning party of the 6 will form the government or decide what the structure of the government's going to be. Okay.
And with 338 seats, you need 170 seats for a majority. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that the guy, if you have a majority, he had 177, so he was a Democratic dictator because any legislation he puts up will pass. Well, now, after this election, he went from 177 seats down to 157 seats, so he lost 20 seats. Now, he doesn't have 170, obviously, so he's got to form a government with somebody else. Well, that's a minority government. They don't last very long, usually anywhere from a year or two, because the party that they ask to form a government with usually will vote down some legislation and the party and the government collapses and they have to call a new election. So it's looking like that'll be the NDP. But here are the numbers. Before the election, the Liberals in Canada had 177. They now have 157. The Conservatives had 95. Now they have 121. They picked up 26 seats. But the big one was the Parti Québécois is back. They had 10 seats, and now they have 32, picked up 22 seats. The big loser was Jagmeet Singh. He's a Sikh that's running the New Democratic Party. And he had 39 seats and lost, and only won 24, lost 15 seats. And the Green Party had 2 seats, picked up another one, so they have 3. Woo! And the People's Party of Canada, which is ultra-conservative, has none. They had 1 seat and lost it. So anyway, long story short, the Liberals and the NDP will form a government, and we'll have another election in a year to 18 months, something like that. Sad, but, they're only 45-day elections. What the heck?
Okay. But they've already passed the USMCA.
Yeah, they've already approved it.
So we're waiting on we're waiting on Pelosi to fund it. The Senate's already passed it.
No, they haven't voted on it because they have the House has to fund it. The House doesn't approve the treaty, but if it requires funding, which this would, to operate the treaty, then the House votes on giving it money, and she doesn't want to do that.
Yeah,
she doesn't want to fund it.
Well, she said she's going to call a vote on it sometime the end of this month or November or something. I don't know.
They don't want it. It's a major win. And anyway, long story short, both Mexico and Canada want it, then why wouldn't they? I mean, talk about redistributing wealth. Obama talked about it, redistributing wealth in the United States, and all these socialist leaders redistributing. No, these people are all redistributing American wealth around the world like it's, like he says, a piggy bank. But anyway, having said that, we'll see how things go. But it doesn't bode well for our country because it's a terrible leader. And by the way, everyone, I want you to know, we had $600 billion in debt. In 4 years, he spent $100 billion. Yesterday, on election day, we went over $700 billion in debt. Now, how $54 million a day he spent while he was prime minister in debt. Like crazy. Anyway.
Okay.
That's it. That's my notch for the election. Done for another 2 years.
Okay.
I give him 2 years.
Well, let's hope. Well, he didn't even win the popular vote. So how does that work? It's almost like our electoral college. You don't win the popular vote, you're still stuck in there. So that sounds like a winner.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. We got to take a short break here. We're back in 2 minutes, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. 19 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, 44 degrees outside, looking for a high of 55 degrees today. Jeff Krauss will join us at 8 o'clock to talk about what's going on in the city. They, I believe, accepted the donation for the Bogart Pavilion, so we're happy about that. So taxpayers won't be on the hook for some of that or all of it or whatever. So we're happy that the Bogart Pavilion is going to be standing once again proudly, and I'm assuming it'll be inspected more often in the future than it was in the past. So
that's correct.
There we are. Yeah. All right. The other thing I want to mention to you is our AM 1450 KMMS app, and the reason that I bring our app up is because we've got 2 home games left, and we're going to give away tickets to the next Bobcat home game, which is November 2nd, a week from this coming Saturday. And you can win tickets by joining our AM 1450 KMMS app and join the app chat. And we'll, at the beginning of next week, we'll put out something for you to text to us. And you can be in the drawing to win 2 tickets on the app. We'll also give away 2 tickets by phone on the show on Thursday, a week from this coming Thursday. So stay tuned for that. But get in on the ground floor, get the app chat for AM 1450 KMMS. You can go to our website, and it has directions there on how to get it if you don't know how. And go to KMMSAM.com and check it out. And you can take us with you anywhere you want to go. So there you are.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah. Let's see, from our chat line, our text line, 478-8298. Tom, did anyone else get inundated by robocalls from Steve Daines yesterday to join a town hall to combat robocalls? thought it was ironic. Well, I don't remember getting one, but I think I'm usually on their list. But
that's right.
Maybe some of the callers can let us know at 522-TALK, 522-8255 if they were also inundated by robocalls for the Steve Daines Town Hall. So we'll have to find that out. Romney didn't criticize our orange god, or we will attack you, the Trump cult. So, well, I think we just like the Republicans to kind of stick together like the Democrats do.
Yeah, that's right.
They're going after impeachment, hell or high water. So
there you go, baby.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I've already done that one. Oh, let's see. Trump complained that the media unfairly attacked his decision because of the phony emollients clause. Let that sink in. The President of the United States is equating the United States Constitution with fake news.
Yeah, geez, here we go.
Yeah. Well, for the benefit of any listeners that don't know, the emoluments clause simply says that you can't receive gifts privately. You can't.
That's right.
You can't gift the president. You can gift the country. You can give a bust of Winston Churchill to the White House, and Obama will send it back. But that's okay, I guess. if you want to do that, so.
and the other thing about the emollients clause is the president or any member of the government cannot use their position to enhance their
personal wealth,
their personal, because everything a president or any member of Congress receives as a gift, it goes to the Smithsonian Institute, basically.
Something like that, yeah.
Well,
that's why they thought the Doral thing was a emoluments thing, whatever. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling you on the morning soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, here's Daniel on Danes.
Yeah,
I listened to Danes' so-called town hall meeting, and the first 10 callers to him were almost identical, congratulating him and saying very positive things about him. So I gave up about that time. It was very suspicious, as though it was molded and shaped to sound real good. When you have skilled screeners, you can make it sound all kinds of things. I have a feeling that Danes is quite a parrot on a party line. Danes is not anybody that I would vote for. He was just lockstep with the Republican Party. I don't think I'm the type that appreciate people to think for themselves, and I'm not getting that feeling that Danes wants to put his big toe out in the other people's waters.
Well, it could be. I would think a lot of the calls might be from party higher ups and people that would go along with him or go along with his thoughts anyway. I'm not going to dispute what you're thinking, and it's probably true.
Yeah, because I was very early. I plugged star 3, but they didn't even ask me if I had a call. It's possible that they were using guys that they had already arranged to talk to them in the beginning. That would really be quite insidious, but I don't want to walk around with a suspicious mind.
Was this the town hall about the robocalls? Was there any substance that you heard in there about robocalls, or did you wait?
No, not the first. Not the first 10 or 12 calls, and I never mentioned anything. That was last night.
Okay.
So I had other things to do, so I just moved on because it sounded so patterned. It was the same pattern over and over again. I like a little variety at my meals. Yeah.
No, I would agree with you. I that's why we have our text line where people can, voice whatever they want. If they don't want to be on the air, they've got an alternative to, voice their views here. If they're opposing to, mainstream views or Shane and I's views or your views or whatever, we give them that opportunity.
They get a chance to put Daniel R. Peterson down. He's taking some punches. One guy called up and said, Daniel R. Peterson should go home, smoke dope, and die.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Well, Make sure you don't get those in reverse.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, always a pleasure. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
See you later. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always suspect of some of these calls, and I think Tester can have an open meeting over in Livingston, but if Danes tries to have an open meeting, boy, you're going to have protesters all over the place, and I know. Well, at least I don't think a whole bunch of conservatives went over to protest John Tester in Livingston,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's a sad state of affairs that you've got to have it on the phone. Maybe you can reach more people by phone, obviously. If they know the town hall is there and you can listen in by phone, and he probably reaches more people that way. But there's not. I don't know. Being in front of people certainly is better, I think, than being on the phone with them.
Well, of course, it always is.
Yeah.
It's just a more expeditious way of being direct with your constituents.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the phone, you can limit your having to deal with people.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you can always hang up. Well, hey, thanks for your call, and we'll take it under advisement.
Yeah.
Because in a room full of people, you're going to get, hey, wait a minute, slow down here. Well, let's talk about this. All right.
One of the best things about Trump's rallies are the people that are demonstrating. I think
that's true.
it's great.
Yeah. All right. We got to go, and Jeff Krauss will be with us at 8:00, and we'll come back and maybe try to do some local stuff. So
it's your turn, buddy.
I know it is my turn. It's my turn to do it. All right. We'll be right back right after these important words. Stay tuned. 24 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019. 44 degrees outside. Got a caller on the phone. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on the morning soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, Tom, I was hearing about these opioid lawsuits.
Yeah.
How the counties are collecting damages.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know why the damages are going to them.
Because they're the one suing for their residents, I would assume.
But why doesn't it go? Why don't the damages go to the family?
Well, they're going to decide how to distribute the money, but the individuals don't have the resources to bring the suit, so the counties are doing it, and they're going to probably, if they haven't already arranged, they will arrange. What their incomes were and what the loss to the family or survivors would be, all of that.
Sounds to me like the counties will let it go into the black hole of their coffers.
Well, they may, but I think the news media will be all over that. I think the news media wants to know how they're going to distribute it.
Our good, reliable news media.
Well, they like the human interest stories. They don't like the politics.
Sure they do.
They don't like the politics.
Sure they do.
Oh, they'll champion the downtrodden.
Yeah, they will.
You don't think so, huh? Well, anyway, if the county gets the money, then it's a matter of public record where it goes. So,
but they're profiting from. They're profiting from the misery of their. If
they do that, then the people, I guess, have a right to call an ambulance chaser who'll be happy to take their case and take a third of the money, or a fourth, or whatever.
Yeah, and then after you pay the cost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll have a big payday, and the people will get less than they should have gotten had the county not divvied it up as they were supposed to. So there's an alternative,
Then they'll have you vote 3 times on a law and justice center.
Right. They will do that. Thanks for the call, man. Caller, you on the air? What's going on?
Well, good morning there, Thomas.
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing good. There's all kinds of things going on.
Yeah.
You see that
Yeah.
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 Nationalism on the rise.
No.
I see that Matt Grudge here, I don't know, for the last couple of weeks, he's perceived as going over to the dark side. And I guess there's a lot of people that believe him because he's down, audience, his audience, 200 million page views disappear.
Okay. Why not?
So I guess they're into a hot and heavy. And the debate ratings were interesting.
Yeah.
The debate ratings are down 50%. The last one down 50% from the previous one. I guess they've heard enough.
Apparently.
And Breitbart had a long article on the involvement of the Senate Select Committee on Intel, and it don't look good. They've got text messages. They've got all kinds of things in there. And it don't look good for the Dems, period.
Well, we'll see. We keep waiting for this report that's supposed to come out any time, and it just never comes out. And
well, they're sweating, and if you read between the lines in the report, Dianne Feinstein gave up her big seat on that committee to Warner, and what they're doing is they're threatening to call the lawyers for these guys that are involved. It's Wolf guy and Wolf in particular.
Yeah,
they're threatening to call these senators as witnesses.
Yeah.
So I'll guarantee you that's going to go away. He started out with leaking to the press. They dropped that to lying to the FBI 3 times, and they dropped that down to lying to the FBI 1 time. So it's going to get interesting, and I don't know what's going to go on, but it seems like the DOJ is trying, with the aid of the FBI, is trying to squash all of this. But it don't look good if you read the text messages back and forth. What was going on? It's pretty ugly.
Yeah. I have a conspiracy theory for you. Adam Schiff was not censored by censured by the House.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. And I think the reason for that is, hey, if you censure me, guess what's going to happen to more of you?
Yeah.
I know where the bodies are buried, pal. So,
Yeah.
So vote accordingly, whatever you think.
Well, that's been going on since the beginning.
Well, that's what I mean. But
isn't that a quid pro quo?
Yeah, that's a quid pro quo for sure. Well, when you stand up there and blatantly lie about a transcript in public,
that was parody, Thomas.
Well, of course it was. Yeah. Well, just like we do here.
Just because it wasn't funny, that doesn't make it not parody.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. Absolutely right.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, what's happening is there's so much stuff now that, they don't know what to cover up first.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. They thought they were going to start out with a twin size blanket. Now they need a king size to cover everything up. So
right, and
electric
blanket, to keep it warm.
You can see what hypocrites they are with this whole deal with Turkey and the Kurds.
Oh yeah.
I mean, does anybody really believe that the Democrats give a rat's behind about the Kurds?
No, they don't.
They could care less. About the Kurds.
I don't know. They think that's something from what is it? The Three Bears or something? Kurds Away.
But
that's all. They don't know what. They don't have any idea what Kurds are.
Nancy Pelosi's visiting them right now.
Well, she's in Syria, so
she's in Jordan.
No, Jordan. Yeah, she's in Jordan.
Yeah.
But
right next door.
And what's the deal with that? Is Obama over there with her too?
I can see Syria from my house.
From my hotel.
Yeah, from the bell tower.
Yeah, right. Gotta go, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for the call.
Guy.
All right, take it easy, Pete.
Right.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. 14 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019. 44 degrees outside. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing on the line in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagle, your morning mayor. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Let's see. Listening to you people make jokes about war is disgusting. People are getting killed every day, including innocent, to want nothing to do with any of it. And you're probably right. I think that's the case. But I think if you're paying attention to war for your own selfish reasons, then that is what we're talking about. To where how often have all these people said you got to get out of, when Bush went in, everybody wanted him out. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Obama escalated it, but still, get out, get out, get out, get out. Trump came in, said, I'm going to take the people out, take the soldiers out, and oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. We can't do that. So we're not making fun of war. We're making light of the people who are anti-war, who have been pro-war or whatever for all this time. As I said.
Well, yeah, exactly. Since 08, 09, your government's propagated war as a way to maintain your economy.
Yeah, when I was doing the Saturday show, every Saturday I would drive to the station, and during the Bush administration, and there were the protesters out in front of the courthouse. Get out of Iraq, get out of Iraq, get out of Iraq, get out of Iraq. And as soon as Obama is elected, boom, they are gone. They are no longer there. That as long as Obama's in charge, then a war is just peachy keen. Who gets killed, nobody cares. And that's what we are talking about here. That nobody wants anybody killed. Certainly, I've been in war, and it's not pretty. But sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes it's cut your losses and get out.
Precisely, and certainly in an area of the world that doesn't mean anything anymore because you're oil independent. So let them figure it out.
Well, yeah, that would be the case. So, all right. In local news, unfortunately,
you better get to it, Eagle Man, because if you don't, Jeff will.
I know. Well, we lost a Gallatin County Sheriff's deputy, as most of you know. A Jake Almendinger was killed by his own police car on an icy road. So
sad.
Yeah, it really is. That he was apparently his patrol car was sliding backward on an icy road, and he exited the driver's side, and the car then went on top of him, and unfortunately, the person that was with him tried to save him, but could not, and so it was an unfortunate situation. And on Friday, they're going to his funeral will be held at the Commons on 1794 Baxter Lane on Friday, starting at 10 a.m., and there will be a procession through town beforehand. So if you're out Friday morning in the city and want to pay your respects to the officer, that would I think that would be a great thing for the family to see. So if you're downtown on Friday, that procession doesn't say what time the procession is going to start, but I would guess to get out to the Commons, that's probably about a 10 or 15 minute drive, depending on how fast you go. But I think if you can be downtown, by all means, go for it. All right, I got to take another quick break, and we're back again in 2 minutes. All right, 7 minutes for the top of the hour. The inimitable Jeff Krauss is in the house. How you doing, man?
Good.
Yeah. Glad to have you here. You get to try out my brand new headphones that,
they are nice.
Yeah, well, Town Square won't spring for them, so we have to.
Well, one thing is I can hear out of
You
both ears.
You can hear out of both ears.
Yeah.
That's impressive, right?
And one side's not falling off.
Yeah, I know.
There's no duct tape on it.
No duct tape, no, nothing else. So
I want to know, did you get them from Amazon or Alibaba?
I got them from Walmart, actually.
Walmart.
Yeah.
Well done, buddy. A big store, right?
Where
Box
America
store?
shops.
Yeah.
Right.
Sears, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
It used to be Sears.
not Sears anymore.
Not Sears anymore. Yeah. So there you are. So, all right. Well, in local news, I know we're going to talk to Jeff about the pavilion, and we just talked about the officer being under his car and the police officer from the sheriff's department.
Sheriff's department, yeah.
And also, we've got public land workers are facing assaults because the numbers are dropping in the number of people that they have there. They've had about 360 complaints, or they've been either assaulted or threatened at least 360 times over a 5-year period. I guess maybe if you put that over 5 years, that's not a lot, but I guess one is too many. But anyway, the report cited a 19% drop in the ranks of officers at the U.S. Forest Service between 2013 and 2018, and the Bureau of Land Management saw a 9% drop and now has one officer in the field for every 1.2 million acres that they oversee. So that's a lot of acreage for one person to, that's 1 million football fields.
Yeah. So yeah, but a lot of it there's no one in.
Well,
right?
that's true.
You don't need a police officer out there policing the mountaintops.
Yeah, it's
right?
not like there's a 4-way stop he needs to be at, or
Yeah, yeah. But so yeah, that sounds horrible. But
Yeah.
I mean, what would be the ideal? There's nothing to compare it to.
well,
right?
there isn't. Yeah, that's why I say there should be one person per million. Should there be 2 for every 500 million, or 3 for or 4 for 25 million?
Well, it's, so 72 a year,
yeah.
right? 72 threatening or assault or whatever they are a year, which seems like a lot. It does.
Well, that's 3 or 4 or 5 a month.
Yeah.
Well, 6 a month roughly.
Yep.
I guess. Yeah. Something like that. So
Yeah, we can do math.
1 a week.
Even at 5 minutes of 8.
Yeah, more than once a week. So I don't know. Obviously they need more people, but if you're being assaulted or if you're being threatened or whatever, that's it's sort of like the Border Patrol. Am I really going to go down there and let people free or whatever? Whatever I do?
It kind of reminds me of what has happened over the years at Highlight, right? Because of the access there, I think they've begun to see more crime and that misbehavior up Highlight.
Yeah. Well, they're going to pave that road too. The Highlight road, I think.
That was the downfall when they paved it the first time.
Yeah.
Should have left it that gnarly road. You only went up at your own risk.
Yeah,
right.
Well, apparently you're still going to go up at your own risk.
Yeah.
But there'll be criminals up there waiting for you, I guess. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
Yeah, I got a quick little bit of information for you on Forest Service Rangers and
Sure,
what they
absolutely.
spend their money on.
Yeah.
About 6 weeks ago up Lava Lake, church group of kids, a kids church group that there were 15 of them, just decided to go for a hike together, college students. One of the gals works for my wife at MSU, and 3 Forest Service Rangers are sitting on the trail, up the trail, at Lava Lake down the canyon, one of the most popular trails in the county or in the Forest Service around here. Detained them all, read them the riot act for not getting a permit for having too many people together, wrote them a ticket, and then threatened them that they're lucky they didn't write all 3 of them or not all 3, all 15 of them separate tickets. Detained them for a long period of time because they didn't know if they should write a ticket to everybody or just one large, ticket to the group. It wasn't even an organized group.
Okay.
That's where your Forest Service law enforcement money is going.
And there's
Three of them.
3 of them in like what, 10 feet, 10 square feet, right? So, so much for that 1 per million acres.
Yeah. So there's 3 million acres right there together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway, it ticked me off to the point I even let Senator Daines know about it. And these were just kids who decided to go for a hike. It wasn't. It wasn't a, like a convention or something.
And it's
whatever.
not a wilderness. I mean, you have to get a permit to walk in the woods in Montana.
If you have, I forget so the kids went back to the trailhead and read the fine print because if you don't, there's 15 to 20 minutes of reading if you stop at the trailhead of rules and regulations and.
Which I don't know that because I've actually never done that, but yeah.
Well, there is.
Okay.
And it just depends on the trailhead on how many. If you're in a wilderness or bear area, then you've got a bigger test.
Yeah, it might be maybe it's an attraction to animals if you have too many people there, mountain lions or bears or something.
No.
Or, I don't know.
That would chase them off.
Yeah, I would think so.
Look at the parking lot of Lava Lake any weekend. I mean, it's packed.
Oh yeah, sure.
Regardless.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people up there. I gotta go. Hey, thanks for the call though. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate the call too. That puts it all in perspective, doesn't it?
All right, thanks a lot. All right, Jeff Krauss is in the house. We'll be chatting with him when we come back. We got to talk about the pavilion, and I've got a question about the county maintenance because you used to be a county treasurer. You would know this.
Oh, sure, yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. Right. All right, welcome back, everyone. It is 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, 43 degrees outside. Three-time mayor and current city commissioner is in the house. That would be, of course, Jeff Krauss. And how you doing, man?
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Pleasure to have you and Mouse in the house.
Mouse is in the house.
Yeah, you got brought the dog bed this time. So, dog bed on the chair and
trying to get her more comfortable in places. She's nervous everywhere she goes. So,
fell asleep last week.
Yeah,
so
she did. Yeah.
Maybe she'll do that. She's going to look up here and say, "What's going on up here? What's that stuff?"
I think she's going to chew off one of these new headphone
my
cords.
New headphone cords. I don't think so. I will shoot her. Well, we got some questions for you, Jeff, I think, from the listeners. So let's take some phone calls. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the air with Jeff Krauss. What's up?
This is Clint, and they're two of my favorite people.
All right.
Can
Maybe
you answer
three
my
at
phone?
James there. We got cut off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his phone was off. His phone went away.
We were Trudeau, but anyway, I wanted to talk to you about water.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Now, how many more people at the end of the day can the city stand without having a resource for more water? In other words, buying some of the ranchers' water rights or buying one of the ranches or drilling holes in the ground or creating a new dam up there in the mountains there in Mystic Lake, I believe, where it was.
Well, we have to do all those things, in my opinion, right? I've been for water storage for a long time now. The current plan is to rely on conservation. In other words, everybody drives up the old part of town so that you can add 10,000 new people on the edge of town.
Well, that's a bunch of crap. You know it, and so do I.
I do too, and I've called them out time and again, but and you can do that as long as you don't have a year when there's not enough water in the summer. Once you do that, then what they've done is they've imposed a new tax on us, which is called a drought anticipation tax, and it's not so that they can give us water.
That's right.
Their plan, get this, Clint, their plan is to cut the water off to us so you can only do it every other day. So sell us half as much water and charge us twice as much.
Well, here's what you do to cure it. I'll tell you how to cure this now. Out here at the Four Corners, the Four Corners Sewer and Water District pumped the water that was in the Zut wells there that was furnished by an electronic thing that was producing power for a scam. It was just a damn scam to get the building built. But anyway, they pumping the water out there, feed it to everybody in the Four Corners Sewer and Water District, and then they're bringing the water down to the treating plant there by Elk Grove, and the new treating plant, as you know, where I live, or where my renters are, and then injecting it back into the ground. So to cure the Bozeman water deal, you got to do the same thing here. It's a quarter of a mile from where they're injecting it into the ground here at the Four Corners to where they're taking it out, and it's right on the water course. That's real smart thinking, don't you think, Jeff?
Well, at one time, we had a proposal to take water out of the West Gallatin because there's water rights in the West Gallatin, and create a reservoir up there, I think to the south of you, a good ways, and then pump it over to Bozeman. I think ultimately some form of getting it out of the Missouri, because all of those basins. I mean, it doesn't make sense to overfill Toston or Canyon Ferry, and then pump it back. It'd be a huge project, you understand, but at some point that's likely to happen. I think long after I'm gone, but I do think that. Yeah.
Here's what's happening right now. Big Sky has a discharge permit to discharge their water, their sewer water they've treated, into the West Gallatin.
Yep.
Now, Four Corners Sewer and Water District is only allowed, the DEQ only allowed them to go 400,000 more gallons of water as all they've got room to get rid of, okay? So the next step is for them to buy a right-of-way to the West Gallatin. So they'll be dumping eventually. The Four Corners Sewer and Water District will eventually dump in their treated water into the West Gallatin River. And to me, that's a no-no. But the thing is, like I'm saying, and I've kind of made a joke out of it, but you take the water out at Zut, bring it into the plant, and treat it. Okay, you furnish that good water to everybody, then bring it into the plant, treat it, and then put it back in the ground. You're only a quarter of a mile away from the gosh darn where you're taking it out. That's smart thinking, see? So what I'm saying, if we don't change things, Jeff.
Well, I'm consistently outvoted on the get new water sources thing, Clint. And here's another thing about buying it from the ranchers. This idea that we should dry up agriculture in the valley so that we can add another 10,000 people to Bozeman. I'm not in favor of that. It was, after all, the ranchers and farmers that put up Mystic. I mean, the Middle Creek Dam is all about agriculture, but we are becoming the big owner up there as we accept water rights from people that come into the city, or we buy them as they become available. And yet, the whole thing about this area was, they created these dams which provided water, which allowed all of us to be here.
Yeah.
That happened in the 40s and 50s or 30s even, and that's all gone. I mean, we don't do that anymore. We don't do what made us successful anymore.
That's right. Well, the thing is, as you know it as well as I do, there's 10 people a day, they say, coming into the city of Bozeman in the county here. Okay. The housing, as you know, you're outvoted, and the housing on the Huffine is coming towards the Four Corners. It's also going south. It's going south up to Cottonwood. It's taking up this farmland. These people who are coming in here are taking up these farmlands, and they're doing it through the developers. And the developers come to you, the city and the county planning boards, and they approve this stuff, but they're not thinking about how much water we have. And that's bothering the hell out of me. Well, I don't know about you and the city commissioners. I hope they're listening, besides you, Jeff.
Well, they're thinking about water, but what they're thinking is that we can just deny water to the users that have water rights already and give it to the new people. Really, that is their plan, right? I call it drying up grandma's rose bushes.
That's right.
So we can have another 500 units on the edge of town. And the answer, of course, is to stop until we have water.
Right.
That's not going to help affordable housing, right? Because those 10 people still going to move here, and they're going to try to jam themselves in. But I got to tell you, what we're doing right now is just playing with fire. Literally playing with fire.
You sure as heck are. I don't know what the answer is. Well, if I was a city commissioner, I think I would put a moratorium on building until such time that I could figure out where I was going to get the water and have hydraulics or engineer something. We're sitting on an alluvial fan here in this valley, and it's 6,000 feet deep to bedrock. And going down in that bedrock, there is water and water courses at various different levels into the earth. It isn't all in one place. It's in different levels. And
well, we could actually tap into the Yellowstone aquifer from up south of town.
I know you can.
Yeah. I mean, that could happen too. One of the things they're experimenting with is creating these deep injection wells where they would take the runoff from Mystic and pump it into these deep wells and hold it in underground in the aquifer, and then pump it out in the fall when we need it.
Create a water pool of some sort.
And that's a good idea, but make no mistake, that's an expensive idea, but it is storage. At least we're thinking about storage. Remember, storage is it made the desert bloom. Drive to Helena. All along that Missouri River, that was pretty deserty before they built those dams and irrigated all that land. It didn't look like that. It was full of cactus.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Well, the thing is, if we don't do something here, people are going to be out of water, and they're going to have a water shortage. So what I'm suggesting is we need to do a study of some sort and hire some good hydrologists and some good engineers and some good geologists and figure out just what we're going to do, figure out how far it is to the Yellowstone aquifer and how much it's going to cost. A lot of different things that's going to have to come into play here.
Well, we've done a lot of that. But the cheapest, of course, is charging people more money.
Yeah.
And, that is the cheap one, right?
Well,
and that's the one that the commission's picked.
Yeah.
Well, we're taxed so much now.
Well,
that
we don't care.
You don't notice, but the other four don't really give a damn whether or not we're taxed too much, Clint. I mean, maybe you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah,
right?
Well, there's not a damn one of them come from this country, and I don't think there's a damn one of them other four that understands water at all. I don't think they understand it.
Well, I don't think they do, and the sad part is that I don't think there's anybody running that's going to champion your position, Jeff.
Not for the city commission. That's what I'm saying. I've nicknamed them lefter, and leftist.
Yeah.
Lefter, that's good.
Yeah, but it's going to be.
Well, it's like
I can do that in Latin too.
I mean, it's gonna be votes of 5-0.
Oh yeah,
pretty much.
More money, more money, more money.
Yeah.
Well, listen to what they talk about. All they talk about is a sales tax. I mean, that is their whole thing. Sure. Listen, there is no person behind the tree. Okay, you hear me say this all the time. If you want to put a sales tax in, we're going to pay it.
Yeah.
You might call it the hamburger and beer tax, but the idea that we pay more for what we consume here, we're here 52 weeks of the year, or maybe 48 or 50 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The tourists in and out. That's not a tourist tax. That's a tax on us.
Yeah.
And, this idea, well, we're going to tax everybody a sales tax so that we can give property tax relief. That's not property tax relief.
Yeah.
That's just another tax.
Well, they had a nice meeting up at the Masonic Lodge the other night, and I went to it.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did, Jeff. And what it was to promote. It was to promote the Law and Justice Center for voting.
Propaganda.
But I never seen nothing in the paper about it, and I never seen nothing on the air about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay with the paper not covering propaganda. Yeah. I actually am. This idea that we're that on one hand we're undertaxed. Oh, look at what other people pay for property taxes. And then on the other hand, well, we know we hear you about property tax, but we got to tax you some more.
That's
and
right.
then what we use it for, remember, Bozeman owns a mansion. We own a mansion. I'm just saying, any state legislature out there listening, any Bozeman official that comes to you and says, we need a sales tax, it's baloney. Yeah. We own a mansion.
That's right.
Well, the thing is, in that meeting, it was loaded with realtors and developers.
Yep.
And so, anyway, a friend of mine, Al Lean, owns a nice ranch out here.
I know Al and Connie both.
Okay. He said he'd never let his ranch go into to be subdivided. Well, between his ranch and the next one there on the Huffine, if you notice, pretty soon it's going to be all full houses and businesses right up to the Huffine Lane.
Oh, he's going to be a little green patch there in the city before too long. I live beyond Alene. I live to the west of Alene.
Well, the thing that's going to happen, what Al told me, him and I had a little talk about it, but what is going to happen, they will force him, unless he puts it under conservation easements, and them can go away too.
Yeah, that's true. Got to go, Clint. Hey, thanks for the call.
I just enjoyed talking to you, Jeff, and thank you very much. And the water.
Hey, my buddy Jimmy Robinson got to come see you, so wait, look for a call from him.
All right.
Okay, see you later.
Talk to you later. Okay, bye. All right. From our text line, 4788298, in 9 years of living in Big Sky prior to 2000 and the growth, there were 2 summers we ran out of water in Big Sky. So there you are. And we'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back, everyone. It is 23 minutes after the hour, and Jeff Krauss is in the house. Glad to have you here, Jeff. Thanks for coming in. And Shema Taubman, half man, half amazing, is on the line in Vancouver, British Columbia. And a group asking Bozeman to adopt a Women's Bill of Rights. They're hosting a forum on the upcoming municipal elections. It's going to be October 30th at the Bozeman United Methodist Church. Isn't that a violation of church and state, or separation of church and state? I don't know. Can you have a political forum in a church?
Sure, you can.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad of that, because I thought maybe we'd have the Supreme Court coming down here in person.
Hey, listen, let's talk
Ginsburg
about that.
Throwing herself in front of the door.
That's that group of university women who are asking to put in, asking the city to adopt a United Nations resolution that the United States Congress has, and the legislature of the state of Montana both refused to adopt the rules of this treaty. Why? Because it overturns the rules of jurisprudence, American jurisprudence, by the way. Jury trials, right to confront your accuser, on and on and on.
Yeah,
to put
Bill of Rights.
To put in tribunals. Now, when have you ever heard tribunals mentioned in this country? Right?
At Guantanamo.
Well, so tribunals, right? And then they would appoint a little group. There would have to be a little group that would direct city taxpayer funds to various nonprofits supporting women. That it's really a kind of a money grab, and to try to do what they've done on campuses to the city of Bozeman. I'm against it 100%. We don't need to be adopting United Nations treaties. That's for the United States Congress, and it's already been turned down by Congress. It's already been turned down by the legislature of the state of Montana. What in the world are we thinking?
I don't know. Anyway, the forum will focus on diversity, equity, fairness, and inclusion.
No, it's about adopting this United Nations
Who could
treaty.
be against all that, though, Jeff? Come on. I mean, that's the American dream.
I am not guilt-tripped.
All right, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on with Jeff Krauss. What's up?
Hey, gentlemen. Nice to speak with you this morning. Hey, am I the one talking right now?
You are, yes. Thank you for calling.
Sorry. So I got my ballot yesterday for, maybe you guys already talked about this, about changing to a nonpartisan election.
Yeah.
And this is the worst idea of all time. Every time I vote, I can't tell because there's just not enough information out there. I can't tell where people stand on things. And each side tends to think that the way they think is the nonpartisan way. And so changing to a nonpartisan election tells me I'm looking at these two names, and if there's not a D and an R behind them, not that there's all that much difference between those two at this point, then how can I know what anybody stands for?
Well, almost every candidate has a website, and almost every candidate has brochures and all kinds of information. Even when I ran for county treasurer, I had some of that stuff. In the city of Bozeman, they're nonpartisan elections. Now you can, assume, like I said, left, or leftist, what those are. I personally like it. I believe it's important that we invite in people who are not just party activists. I don't like our closed primary system where you have to be a party loyalist and you can only vote for one ticket in a primary. I don't like that. I would really like to open up this to more than just party affiliates. In other words, people who may have qualifications that don't want to participate in partisan politics should be able to run for county treasurer or county attorney. I really like it. The other thing is I've seen a lot of games over the years with this. Just overheard at the polls. How can I vote for a judge if I don't know if he's a Democrat or not? And, so this voting the straight ticket, bringing people in, telling them here's the ticket, and voting the straight ticket, that is done in this county, and I'm not a big fan. So anything we can do to break the stranglehold of the two-party system, I'm in favor of. But hey, I understand your point, but don't be a low information voter. Go find out before the election. It's a mail-in ballot. You have plenty of time to get online and investigate.
Your point is well taken. I mean, you make good points. I just don't necessarily, I'm sort of the same as you overheard somebody saying. I researched all the judges during the last election.
Yeah.
And you just can't tell. They give all the platitudes. It's sort of the same thing as listening to Barack Obama. I mean, if you just listened to him before he was elected, you would have thought, oh man, he's halfway conservative. I mean, we all knew deep down that he wasn't.
Yeah.
But he was good at platitudes, and websites are even better at it.
Yeah.
So I just don't. Your points are good. I think maybe there should be a better solution to your issue than to remove that.
I got to go. Hey, thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you very much. All right. We got to pay a couple bills, and we'll be right back right after these important words. So stay tuned. 25 minutes before the top of the hour, Jeff Krauss is in the house. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing, is on the line in Vancouver, British Columbia. And one of the, you wrote in the Facebook about the nonpartisan issue. Why don't you give us your thoughts on that, how you feel about what we're talking about on the ballot. It says do we want to be nonpartisan, or do we want R's and D's and I's and whatever, Green Party or whatever, identifying the candidate? So what's your thought on?
Well, anything that reduces the barrier to people being able to sign up and run, generally I'm in favor of. Right now, look how you can't get a libertarian candidate on the dais or in a debate, or the R's and D's have locked it up at the state and national level, I think this is a good thing to unlock it. The city elections are nonpartisan, although I don't think people have had so much trouble identifying who's more conservative and who's less conservative. This straight ticket thing, the vote straight ticket thing bothers me a lot, and and finally, if we're going to gear our everything we do to the low information voter, we might as well change the name of our government from and I know it's not really a democracy, but from democracy to idiocracy, right? And we'll go water our plants with Gatorade. We should expect more from our voters. And nothing in this rule would prevent a candidate while they're running on their website in their literature from saying I'm a Democrat.
Yeah.
Now judges can't say that, right? So there's way to get the information out there. But the thing that I don't like is all of the low information voters in this county is one of the particular ones. They get bussed down to the polls, same day registration, voting the straight ticket. And I think this would break that up some because that wouldn't be there. And if you hadn't taken the time before that very day, by the way, we'll throw in a sandwich and a bottle of water. The very day you wouldn't know, right?
Sure.
And like I said, overheard at the polls. I don't know how to vote for the judges because I don't know which one's the Democrat, right? I think it's important to do away with that.
I have a solution.
Yeah.
Well,
here's the Canadian solution.
It's a Canadian solution. My solution is if you're going to run for public office, add an initial to your name, like R or D or I. And then campaign, right? Well, on your campaign sign, you have your initial, like big R, big D. And then they have to put your name in with the capital letter of the party you're in.
Yeah, see, the idea that you have to have a partisan sheriff or a partisan county treasurer or a partisan clerk and recorder, I'm not a huge fan of that. I ran as a partisan. I've run in partisan and nonpartisan elections, and I enjoyed them both and got lots of support from the Republican Party. I don't have any problem with that. But I think if we're given the choice, I think here's a chance to break up some of that bad behavior we've seen in the past, and also open it up for more people who might not necessarily get involved because of the rancid partisanship that we see in this country, especially at the national level. Getting that out of local politics would be important to me.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the air with Jeff Krauss. What's going on?
Hi. Well, I think I totally disagree with what he said, partly because the people who organize and bus people in, they are going to tell people who to vote for, with or without that D or R by their names. They just do that. They already have it planned out. They know exactly what they're doing, and they tell them where to go and what to do, and they do it. And for the rest of us, I would rather have judges have those things by their names so I kind of know which way they lean. At this point, we have pretty names on the ballot, and it's almost impossible without doing a ton of research that I don't have time to do to figure out which way that judge is going to be voting on things and which way he at least where his heart is or where her heart is on things. So I'm really like the fact that there's still R's and D's and I's. I think if you want to change something, change how darn hard it is to register as a candidate. Change the regulations so that regular people can get in there and do that. Don't mess around with what we've already got, because that bit of information is extremely important in a lot of cases. Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. All right. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Jeff Krauss right after this. 17 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019. Jeff Krauss, three-time mayor of Bozeman and current city commissioner, is in the house. And from our text line, 478-8298, do it the Canadian way. Run in blackface. So that's what we need to do, right?
Hey, I was raised in Virginia, and I think they did it. They took that one to heart down there, the governor at least.
If you go to the north side of Bozeman and read the yard signs, you will know who's a Democrat socialist. That's from Mayor. And didn't Jeff sign on to ICLY UN Agenda 21?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay. I know what that is, but I don't think we sign on to it locally. I mean, Kirchhoff probably would have.
Well, we did the global warming thing. I signed the letter.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But
why are we wasting time on global warming in this city when it's an international problem? Is it just a feel good for the voters or something like that?
Well, I would tell you that a majority of the people of Bozeman want to do something, right? They don't want to give up their spring break trip.
Well, no.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
Or SUV or weekend trips to the ski hill. Let's not go running.
Let's not go
now.
overboard here.
Right,
Yeah.
but they want to do something.
Yeah. Well, get some electric skis.
Tell their neighbor to use less electricity.
work, yeah.
I think is probably it.
Let's go to the phones. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane and Jeff Krauss. What's up?
Well, what Jeff was saying, that happened here already because we used to have Big R, and then they changed to Murdoch's, and now they sell baby mice to eat for food. And so you really don't know what you're getting into now.
Okay.
Okay, but on it seriously though. I mean, he's got a good point. You don't just because there's many times I wanted to vote for someone who might have been independent or might have been Democrat, but you have that straight ticket. It just goes to tell us that we need to be more aware of a voter. We have the responsibility to educate ourselves, to take the time. Not just to go ahead, get the ballot, and then just go, okay, it's an R or it's a D, and just go down the list. Because that is exactly how we do get people in there that really aren't, what do they call them? Republicans in name only, or Democrats are going to be crap on you anyways. So it's really showing the voter that you better go educate yourself. However, the back door for communism and socialism is exactly having a nonpartisan ticket. I mean, where you don't have R's and D's and what have you. And then again, it still falls to the feet of the voter, and that's just my opinion. But that's about it. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for the call. All right.
Yeah, don't be a low information voter.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say is take the time to find out, right? Mm-hmm. Don't be a low information voter. Vote. Almost every candidate, all the way down to city election, spends $10,000 now, thousands of dollars to get their message out.
They do. You're right.
It's not like they're hiding under a bushel.
Mm-hmm. One of the places.
Now, I remember the progressive left wants you to call them uninformed. Let's not be insulting.
You can go to votesmart.org. Votesmart.org. You can enter a politician's name or zip code, and they've got things like bios, votes, positions, ratings, speeches, and funding.
Cool.
So you can check all that out at votesmart.org.
I don't believe I've ever visited that website.
Well, you should go to votesmart.org and
I see what they got on me.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, we'll have to look up Jeff Krauss and see what they've got on you. But
probably clips from Tom and Shane.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah. And coming soon, they're going to have a fact check tool. So at votesmart.com. So
be good.
Or, .org.
As long as we can trust it more than we can trust Snopes.
Well, at least it'll give you something. So.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but I've run in them both. Okay, and I've won in them both, and I would tell you that I prefer nonpartisan. Sure. And I think we need more IDs than just R&D. We need more ideas than just R&D in this country now. And how do we achieve that? We open the election to more candidates.
I would agree, yeah. Well, let's take a phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Call you on the air with Tom and Shane and Jeff. What's up?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I'd like to offer a thought for you for your consideration. I've been listening to you talk about the D's and the R's. And the more I listen to the Democrats, I've come to realize we're calling these guys by the wrong letters. It's the party of the VDs, victims and dependents. And that's basically what I see in the Democratic Party today. They're pandering to the victims, and they want to create dependents. And for me, I certainly can't vote for that.
Yeah, there is, I think, particularly Democrat Socialist Party, which is a party, you begin to see them engage solely in identity politics. And everyone is a victim of someone else. And you're seeing that, right? Every issue is framed in a them versus us. Now, that's right out of, you got to have read the book. You have to read Rules for Radicals.
I didn't see
It's
any...
a very thin book. But it tells you everything that's going on in today's politics.
Yeah, I didn't hear anybody at the Democrat debate talk about entrepreneurship, how they're going to create jobs, how they're going to do all these, spur of the economy. I mean, you could go as far as airbags and seatbelts. Why does the government force me to add the cost of seatbelts and airbags? Shouldn't that be an option for me to, if I want airbags or I want seatbelts, shouldn't that be my option?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think your first point. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. One of the other comments. Let me just deposit this, and then I'll let you guys chat for more. The other day I was listening to the Canadian radio station up in Vancouver, Shane, and they were running ads on the political parties, and they were doing it on a kind of a non-partisan basis. They just ran all of the parties, and they were telling what the platform was. And I was listening pretty carefully to what was being said, and they came to the Communist Party, and they were talking about what the Communist Party platform and arguments were, or their beliefs. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it was almost word for word what the Democrat Party here is professing. I mean, open borders, free education. It was a list of giveaways that paralleled exactly what the Democrats are saying. It was shocking.
Yeah, you're talking about the NDP, the National Progressive Party.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Well, they led themselves to the Communist Party.
Yeah, basically they're socialists.
So, yeah. I mean, it's remarkable. I had no idea that was that closely aligned with that far left leaning in Canada.
Well, I was wondering. I was talking to Shane before we went on the air this morning. We were talking a little bit about the Canadian vote, and I was wondering if the liberal movement in Canada is going to be a cheerleading spur for us down here. That they're doing it in Canada. They got all the great stuff there.
Yeah.
Is that just going to give more ammunition in our upcoming election to the more socialist movement? Because obviously the social movement is not hiding anymore. They're out in the open. 12 of them were on the dais at the Democrat debate.
Yeah.
It's all about victims and dependents. That's all that is. That's what the party is. It's the VD party.
All right.
Of America. VD. Yeah.
Thanks for the call.
All right, guys.
All right, appreciate it. All right, we got to get the Rush update in here. Jeff Krauss will stay with us, and Shane will stay with us, and we'll comment on the VD party right after this. So stay tuned. Here's Rush. All right, 3 minutes for the top of the hour, so not much time left here, Jeff.
I don't want to call the Democratic Party any derogatory names, or the Republican Party any derogatory names. The reason I want more candidates is I want better dialogue. I want better discourse. I want something more than the finger pointing that I see between Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump, and it has permeated the local scene to a large extent, to the point now where you see organizations affiliated with one particular party going around and campaigning for one particular party's candidates. I saw that several elections ago, and I think it becomes counterproductive. And so whatever I can do to try to open it up to rational people who go to themselves, I think I could do a better job of that. But I've never been involved in any kind of party politics, but I'm certain I could do a better job of that, to go make their case.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I prefer this way. It has nothing to do with, one of the responses, has been by the Democrats, I think, has been, well, just because we won, right? They won a county commission race, and now you want to change it to nonpartisan. Well, how does that hurt them? They can still have every opportunity to make their case.
Sure. Yeah.
So can I make a case?
Make a case.
Okay. So our prime minister in his last election wanted to change the laws in Canada to proportionate elections, meaning, that the seats in the House would be issued based on the number of votes. So, the thing about being nonpartisan in these choices is a slippery slope leading to the potential of, equal representation based on the votes. So, it's one of those slippery slope topics you got to be careful of, I think.
Well, there's only one candidate, so I don't think you could pull that off in a county election.
That's true.
We're not talking about Parliament here.
No, but you're talking about proportional voting there, and that I'm just saying it's a slippery slope that could lead to that. That's all I'm saying.
You couldn't proportionalize the county treasurer.
Say goodbye, Shane.
Goodbye, Mayor, and thanks, Jeff.
See you later,
8:00
Shane.
and time to go. Be happy, be safe. God bless everyone.
All right. Thanks, Shane. All right. Thanks, Jeff, for being here. We appreciate it, as always. And
it's 9:00 here in America.
It's 9 o'clock in America. Well, Shane's on metric time.
And anyway, I didn't want anybody to think they got an hour to get to their doctor's appointment here.
No, yeah. Shane has to add 32 minutes to or something like that.
32.89.
Yeah, right.
I think it is. Yeah, divide by 2.
All right.
Yeah.
We're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Thanks for listening.